Thursday night edition of KFTV Live, presented by Manscaped. Well, after a historic choke job in Dallas, we wanted to see how these Knicks would respond in the Alamo. And it was a bit of a hangover, man. Knicks losing to the Spurs, man. 122-115. 5 in a row now after an 8-game winning streak. The losing streak is now 5. He did have outstanding games from Randle Quickley with 36 points. Julius Randle poured in 41 with no Jalen, no RJ once again. It was Julius, it was Quick who put their team on their backs, but Knicks just didn't get enough contributions from anyone else. And on the flip side, Keldon Johnson, Trey Jones, Ty Jones, Jeremy Sohan, and Romeo Langford. Let's add his name to the Knicks I'll Make You Famous Hall of Fame, because Romeo Langford finished with a career high over the Knicks with 23 points, man. And it wasn't surprising. Honestly, this one really wasn't surprising. I had doubts that this team was going to bounce back both physically and mentally over after what happened in Dallas. I had doubts that they were going to bounce back against the Spurs. And with the Spurs, look, the Spurs are 12-23. They are on the Wemby sweepstakes, a healthy tank going on in San Antonio. But this game, if you look at the stats, the Spurs won all of the effort stats. They out-rebounded the Knicks, which is uncharacteristic. Knicks one of the better rebounding teams in the league. Spurs out-rebounded the Knicks by 10. 7 blocked shots by the Spurs. You had 13 Knicks turnovers leading to 15 Spurs points. Knicks not careful with the ball, which was very problematic. Points in the paint. 62 points in the paint for the Spurs. Knicks giving up 46 points in the paint on average. Give up 62 points in the paint. And when you saw that, what stuck out to me was Knicks starting McBride here, moving Grimes to the 3. They start McBride and IQ in the backcourt because no RJ, no Jalen, again, for a second game. But what was evident to me was the size and the wingspan of the Spurs. When you look at Keldon Johnson, you look at Sohan, Langford, they had Pirtle in the paint. Stanley Johnson, they had a lot of size out there. And look, the Cam experiment is over, but the Knicks' clear lack of a small forward on this team was no more evident than it was tonight. And the Spurs were just able to take advantage on both ends of the court, shooting over guys, a lot of jump hooks by Keldon Johnson. And the Knicks just had no answer. You had Quentin Grimes, who was one of the brightest spots in the Dallas game. Thought this was probably his worst game of his season. Abysmal. Grimes was abysmal. But again, Julius, tried to put his team on his back. Gave it his all. I thought IQ had an outstanding shooting night offensively. That's what kept this Knicks team in the game. But, like I said, they didn't shoot out the gates well. And it cascaded throughout this game. So too little, too late. Knicks lose 122-115.
It's an awful loss. Awful, terrible loss. I know you had mentioned that, you felt that it was going to be tough for them to bounce back. At the end of the day, it's still, to me, an embarrassing loss. And in addition, first of all, I don't want to hear the excuses. I don't want to hear tonight that we didn't have Jalen Brunson. I don't want to hear tonight that we didn't have RJ Barrett, because the Spurs, who are a worse team than the Knicks, who were 6-12 at home, who were one of the worst teams in the NBA, we all know what their intentions are. They're missing, arguably, their best player in Devin Vassell. That's already a bad team, and they're missing almost 20 points per game player, shooting 40% from 3 and 80% from the free throw line. I'm sure Knicks fans know the name because he was a player that was talked about potentially becoming a Knick during his year in the draft. So they weren't missing him tonight, obviously, by their performance. So no Vassell, don't want to hear the excuses. It was a terrible loss at the end of the day. Now, what I will say was very predictable, CP, very predictable, was the low energy that they came out tonight. Step slow defensively, rotations a step slow. You mentioned Grimes. Grimes had his worst game of the season defensively as well as offensively. Grimes was atrocious defensively. And I mean, it's how much do you attribute that to just the amount of minutes? Even tonight, he played 37 minutes. So even in a bad night, he still logged a lot of minutes. And, the team just didn't have it tonight. And is it because of the minutes? Is it because they're demoralized mentally, psychologically from the disaster that happened last game? A lot of talking points there to figure out what happened tonight. So to me, I'm not going to make excuses for their loss. You don't make excuses for losing to the worst teams in the NBA. I don't care who you have or don't have. The Knicks had enough tonight, having a performance what they got in terms of points. They scored 115 points. I mean, if you're going to score 115 points and you can't beat, the worst teams in the NBA, then, I don't know how you can. So very disappointed tonight, man. And, we talk about Cam, your only true wing on the roster.
Only true wing.
Only true wing. And it's funny because tonight, I mentioned to you that Fournier was actually a good matchup to play against the Mavericks because the way the Mavericks play defense, they were allowing the Knicks to shoot a lot of threes. I thought tonight was the other way around. The Knicks needed to get some stops. The Knicks needed to get some some defensive energy. Sometimes Cam does get those steals, has a few dunks. And at the end of the day, also, CP, I mean, when players are not playing well, go into your bench.
I thought this was a sure win, but listen, man, it's getting to the point.
Yeah, I didn't.
Tom Thibodeau got to go, bro. He's just a coach from a different era, bro. You can't win with this guy. Like, it's like you're telling me that you don't have no minutes for Cam, but yet you have teams like the Lakers, the Bucks, all these other teams with championship DNA. Say what you want about the Lakers, but the Bucks. You got yourself a 6'7", 6'8" lengthy wing right there, just sitting there, checked out, because this coach don't want to play him for whatever political reason. It's just time, bro. And it's just like, hey, listen, man, bring all the tomatoes tonight, bro. I'm gonna just say what I gotta say, bro. Hey, when it comes to this season, bro, we're not gonna make the playoffs, and honestly, this season should be used to showcase Julius Randle. He's been playing really good.
Back
you
to trade
him,
talk.
you cut this, you peel it back, bro. You listen, the guy that just did a 60, 20, 10 triple-double on us, you got him through the draft, bro. Listen, I know Trae Young's go crazy. All these teams that are beating us have gotten their superstars through the draft, and look at the Spurs. One of the most historic franchise in the NBA, and even they're trying to get into win the sweepstakes, bro. And honestly, and if anybody got an issue with that, you can see me battle the fans. I'm tired of it, bro. I'm tired of it. You can see me, and I'll
wants
smoke
to
or whatever.
smoke.
Pat.
I'm depressed like everybody. I mean, it was a carryover. I felt we didn't have the effort and energy in the Mavs game. We had the effort. We just didn't finish. I mean, I had no issue. Doncic is a great player. He got his, but I didn't have an issue with effort or energy in the Mavs. It was just a matter of not finishing the game. The Cam thing, I think he should still play. I get it. I'm a fan. I get it from a business perspective. I still play him because that's great that Fournier went 4 for 6, but we took the ball out of the basket. We needed defense. It wasn't about offense tonight. I don't like to do the ref thing, and I'm not blaming the refs for the loss. I want to be clear. However, I want to just say this, and I refer you to the Mavs game, the quickest jump ball call I've ever seen in my life. When Julius ties it up, we call an instant foul. Okay, I get it. It's different refs, and I'm frustrated, but that's fun. I had an issue with 2 of the Randle fouls in the Mavs game, where Powell acted like Randle elbowed him in the face when he never even touched him at all.
Yeah.
Also, Randle was called for an offensive foul for him simply using his strength to gain position on a missed free throw in the Mavs game. That's not fair to Randle. I thought I'm always going to protect Julius, and I have to call it out when I see it. I thought Dinwiddie's foot was on the line on the last play of regulation in the Mavs game. They never call that, but Dinwiddie's foot was on the line on the three-point line. You're not allowed to do that if you check the rules. But I also just want to say tonight, I thought there was a play where the ball was clearly off of San Antonio. Yeah. And then the McBride play, you want to say he hit him on the elbow, that's fine, CP. But the way that game was going, I can't accept that. It just, every little thing is going against us. And I know people are probably going to throw tomatoes. You can't blame the refs. I'm just saying, I've watched enough basketball.
I wouldn't go that way, bro.
I'm not going to go with the refs thing. I'm just going to say this comment. We need Jalen Brunson back.
Okay.
We won 8 games in a row. We can turn this thing around, CP, but I think the key is for you to hang in there with me, because we can turn. You and I are one of the. Your boy Burks went off last night, so there's hope for us, because it shows us if we just stick in there. Burks went off.
Yeah, they got rid of the wrong guy.
we have to hang in, because Brunson, we need our leader back. We need the defensive intensity back. Grimes is a baller. The Mavs game, we didn't close. They collapsed, but it can easily flip where we can win 5-6 in a row. I still think this team can do it, but right now, I feel like they're mentally wilting. So we have to keep them strong. We can't give up. And I'm frustrated. I'm going to let you go, but I'm just going to say the refs drive me nuts. I hate all of them, and have a good night.
Appreciate it. We got little JD on the mic. What do you want to say, man? How do you feel about the Knicks right now?
Who's the best player on the Knicks?
Conrad.
You heard that? My boy Trey.
Yeah. So little JD is part of the Cam High, man. Please believe it. We will be doing a post-game show after Knicks versus Rockets. It'll be a rapid-fire post-game. You know, it is New Year's. I am trying to get my New Year's Eve celebration on, you know what I mean, ringing the New Year and whatnot. So we will be doing it. It'll be rapid-fire. Hopefully the Knicks got to win. One more until the end of the year, man.